Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something really crucial for pet owners. We're looking at common household insecticides and the specific dangers they pose, especially to cats. That's right. Our goal here is pretty focused. Extract the absolute must-know info about organophosphates and carbamates, things you need to know fast for safety and, well, quick response if the worst happens. And it's scary how common these are. Products for ants, wasps, garden pests, many contain these ingredients. And for cats, the threat level is uniquely high.
Absolutely. So let's start with the main culprits. Organophosphates, or OPs, and carbamates. They're chemicals designed to attack insect nervous systems. You used to find them everywhere. Hardware stores, home centers, farm supply places. Right, but I think I read that the industry's shifting a bit. Are these still the main players we need to worry about day to day?
Well, yes and no. It's true that OPs and carbonates are being used less now. We have newer options like pyrethrin insecticides. They tend to be just as effective, but generally safer for mammals. Okay, safer, but maybe not entirely safe for cats either. We might need to cover that another time. But for now, the older chemicals, the OPs and carbamates, they're still out there.
Exactly. They haven't vanished. You'll still find them, especially in older stock, maybe some garden products or things aimed at more heavy-duty pest control. So vigilance is still key.
Got it. So we need to be label detectives. If someone's looking at a can, what name should jump out? You mentioned some fairly complex chemical names earlier.
Yeah, listing them all isn't super helpful in the moment, is it? Chlorpyrifos, diazinon, phosmet, it's a lot. But look for patterns. For organophosphates, you often see phos in the name. Think chlorpyrifos.
Okay, phos is a potential red flag for OPs and the carbamates.
With carbamates, the two you're most likely to see in, say, older pet products like flea collars are carbaryl and propoxure. Fewer names maybe, but just as dangerous for cats. See those. Treat it like serious poison.
Understood. Okay, so we know the what's. Now the how. How are cats actually encountering these things? This seems like where mistakes happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sources really highlight three main routes. First, pretty straightforward, accidentally eating poison baits, stuff left out for bugs or mice. Cats explore.
Yeah.
Simple enough.
Mm.
But the second one sounds like it's often, well, unintentional but devastating. It really is. Probably the most frequent cause of severe poisoning in this category. Treating a cat with a flea or tick product that's specifically made for dogs. That exact mistake keeps coming up. Why is it so much worse for a cat than just, say, giving too small a dose to a dog? Is it just size?
It's more than size, it's fundamental physiology. Organophosphates especially hit cats way harder than other animals. Basically, cats lack sufficient amounts of certain liver enzymes. Think of the glucuronidation pathway. It's crucial for detoxifying many substances.
Ah, so their internal filter system, their liver, just can't break down and get rid of these specific chemicals effectively.
Precisely. The poison sticks around, circulating at much higher concentrations for longer. So a dose that might just make a dog feel a bit unwell could be absolutely catastrophic for a cat.
Wow. Okay. And the third route.
The third is contact with high concentrations, like in sprays or powders used on carpets or in the yard. The cat walks through it, then grooms itself, ingesting the chemical off its fur. But honestly, that dog product mistake is the big one we see again and again. People just assume flea stuff is flea stuff.
Okay, that metabolic vulnerability is terrifying. It means spotting the signs immediately is everything.
Yeah.
What does poisoning actually look like? What should people be watching for?
You need to be ready for signs of massive nervous system overload. These chemicals block an enzyme, acetylcholinesterase, that normally cleans up a neurotransmitter, acetylcholine. Without that cleanup, the nerve signals just keep firing like crazy.
Like the signals are stuck in the on position. What does that do to the cat? You'll see what vets sometimes call wet signs first. Think hypersecretions, excessive drooling, like really excessive, frequent urination, explosive diarrhea. And then the neurological signs kick in, muscle tremors, twitching, weakness, staggering. They might seem hyperexcitable at first, then crash. So a sudden flood of bodily fluids, shaking, loss of coordination. If it's not treated right away, how does it end?
It comes down to breathing. The nervous system overload affects the muscles controlling respiration. The diaphragm, the chest muscles, they either become paralyzed or just fatigue completely from the constant uncontrolled signals. Ultimately, death is due to respiratory failure. They simply can't breathe.
That's incredibly fast and awful.
Yep.
Okay, emergency time. If you suspect your cat just ate something, maybe bait, before any signs show up, what's the very first step?
If you actually see them ingest it, and if the cat is still acting normally, the sources say induce vomiting immediately while calling your vet. But, and this is critical, if the cat is already showing any signs, even just drooling or twitching, forget inducing vomiting at home.
Why not? Isn't getting the poison out the priority?
It is, but if neurological signs have started, they could aspirate, meaning inhale the vomit, which is incredibly dangerous, or they could seizure. At that point, time is absolutely critical. The priority is immediate transport to the vet. Seconds count.
Get him in the car, call ahead, go. Okay. Once at the vet, the treatment gets specific, right? Depends if it was an OP or a carbamate.
Exactly. And first things first, if it was skin exposure, like from a spray or dip, they'll need decontamination. A thorough bath with soap and water, lots of rinsing, to get any remaining chemical off the skin and fur, right? Stop any more absorption. And then the internal treatments. Let's talk about those two key drugs, 2PM and atropine. Why is 2PM prolidoxim chloride only used for organophosphates? Okay, think of that enzyme we mentioned, acetylcholinesterase, like a lock. The organophosphate is like a key that gets stuck tight in the lock, jamming it permanently. 2PM is like a specific chemical master key that can actually pry the OP key out of the lock, freeing up the enzyme to work again.
Ah, so it chemically reverses the OP's effect on that specific enzyme.
Precisely. But carbamates, while they also block the enzyme, bind differently. It's more like a key that jams the lock but doesn't get stuck quite as permanently. It can fall out on its own eventually. Because the binding is different, 2PM just doesn't work on carbamates. It can't pry them loose effectively.
That makes sense. A really key difference. So 2 p.m. for the OP jam. What about atropine? You said that's used for both kinds of poisoning.
Yes, atropine's job is different. It doesn't fix the jammed enzyme itself. Instead, it works on the effects of the nerve overload downstream. Think of it like turning down the volume on the organs that are going haywire because of the jammed signals. It helps control that severe drooling, the vomiting, the diarrhea, and very importantly, it counteracts the dangerously slow heart rate that can happen.
So atropine manages the life-threatening symptoms caused by either poison, buying time, and stabilizing the cat, while 2 p.m. is the specific fix, but only if it's an OP.
You got it. Atropine is crucial supportive care for both. 2PM is the targeted antidote, but only for OPs. And one more thing we can't forget.
Seizures.
Right. If the poisoning is severe enough to cause convulsions, the vet needs to control those immediately too, usually with drugs like diazepam Valium or sometimes barbiturates to calm the central nervous system down.
Okay, it's a complex, multi-step response, and knowing the exact chemical is vital. This has been intense, but so important. Let's quickly recap the absolute must-remember points for listeners. First, cats are uniquely metabolically vulnerable to these chemicals.
Yes, and second, never ever use a dog flea or tick product on a cat. That specific mistake is a leading cause of these poisonings. Read every label every time.
And third, if poisoning occurs, the treatment differs. Knowing if it's an OP or carbamate is critical, which means bringing the product container or label to the vet is non-negotiable. It literally guides the antidote choice.
Absolutely, that information can be life-saving. So here's something to think about as we wrap up, building on that issue of dog products being misused. We know the industry is slowly moving away from OPs towards maybe safer alternatives like pyrethrins. We also know labels clearly state do not use on cats. Yet these poisonings keep happening. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How effective are warning labels really if the same dangerous mistakes persist year after year, regardless of the specific chemical involved? Is the problem the chemical, or is it something about how we use or misuse these products in our homes? Something to definitely ponder. Stay aware, read those labels carefully.
We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.